It finally happened. Imu has just been defeated out of Elbaf. Luffy and Loki didn't even break a sweat against the strongest attack of Imu, which even defeated Roxy Zebek. However, this is what Imu wants the Straw Hats to think, that they have won against the God's Knights and even the devil himself. Because at the end of the chapter, we learn that Imu-sama is about to leave Pangaea Castle in over 800 years to personally deal with Nika and Nidhogg once and for all. And when he shows up, it's game over for Elbaf. The only thing remaining for the Straw Hats is to run away to the moon. Yes, we are bringing back the moon theory. Before I start yapping about the moon and my goat monkey deadbeat dragon, yeah, we have a dragon update this week. Yup, Christmas came early for me. In delusion, there is a hope, chat. That's what the deadbeat agenda is all about. But right now, Luffy quickly brings both Brooks and Usopp, who are down for the count, back to the safe hands of the crew, away from the epic fight that him and Loki are about to put on against Imu. Frankie is now juiced up by his new Super Cola, so he asks Luffy if he needs backup. Nah, no way he asked him for backup, bro. But Luffy just tells bro to just put the cola in the bottle for now. Like, go learn hockey or something. He wouldn't want Frankie or any of the crew getting hurt. Not by Imu, of course. He's talking about Loki. This dude does not give a flip about whom he is attacking. Because remember, last chapter, this motherfucker threw a point-blank thunder breath straight at Luffy. And what do you know? Loki has already gotten started with an attack against Imu, who instead of focusing on the fight is monologuing. Turns out that after the death of Harold, Loki as a pirate did exactly what Zebek was doing over 50 years ago. Him and his crew would only attack government vessels. During that period, there were many credible rumors about sightings of an unimaginably large flying beast around the attacks. Now, I theorize that after 10 years of fighting government ships, Loki was planning to finally attack the Holy Land or reveal himself to a God's Knights convoy. Shanks could not let this happen as he is balancing the world until Nika shows up. With how strong Loki and the giant pirates he commands are, if he were to appear out of the fog to go against the government, it would completely destroy the current power balance of the world. Plus, it would inform Imu of Nidhogg's appearance. The smart thing, according to Shanks, was to wait until both Nika and Nidhogg surprise Imu, giving the government less of a chance to prepare against these threats. So Shanks had to lock Loki up because this man cannot be reasoned with. Bro thinks he is the sun god of destruction already. He is not waiting for a fraud Nika to show up to save everyone. Luckily right now though, Luffy has made his way back to the fight. That insane thunder breath was easily dodged by Imu because the size Loki is right now, like, he could barely see Imu. But before Luffy can even start up his attack, a black shadow escapes from Gunko's body. This is reminiscent of Imu in God Valley. Imu says that if only they were erased from the world just as rocks, everything would be perfect for him. Then he summons two demonic covenant swirls which go straight through Luffy's chest and Loki's head. Imu makes a vow that in exchange for this blessing of strength, Loki and Luffy will give up a portion of their life and fight each other. But even though the contract is set and Domi Reversi should be in effect, like with Roxy Zebek, nothing happens. Luffy and Loki are both confused as the attack didn't even hurt them, while Imu says as expected, which makes me wonder if this attack by Imu was just to make sure that Luffy and Loki are 100% Nika and Nidhogg. Now, why didn't Imu's attack work? It's possible that for Luffy, because his fruit makes him free, any form of control that Imu tries to put on him gets cancelled out, while Loki's Nidhogg's true power might have to do with souls, and with Imu trying to manipulate your soul or shadow, it just doesn't work on him. Furthermore, the way Imu pops out of Gunko reminds me of Moria's Doppelman. It's possible that Imu's fruit is a stronger version of Moria's shadow fruit, like how Aokiji's fruit is a better version of Monet's snow fruit. By that logic, the current Imu we see coming out of Gunko could be a Doppelman-like fragment of Imu's soul, with shadows being one side of a person's soul. Imu's deep sea marks might just be fragments of that. Moria could control your body by manipulating the shadow. We see a similar phenomenon with Imu in Egghead when Joy Boy's haki was released. Back in Marie Joie, the real body of Imu was visibly affected. The two share a link even when they are apart. Furthermore, this similarity to Moria's power explains how Domi Reversi works. Imu is bringing out your shadow self to control your body, while your regular side of your soul is suppressed or frozen in the abyss. And since your body follows the makeup of your soul, that's how Ors was able to stretch himself, maybe people healing themselves while Domi Reversied follows the same logic. The body is trying to get back to the form of the soul, as you haven't really damaged the soul. Like, you can sever the body's arm, but the soul's arm is still intact, so the hand of the body comes back. And by dealing a lethal blow to the Shadow Soul, you are bringing back the regular side, which Imu has no control over. Coming back to the chapter, Loki realizes that his dragon form is way too big to deal with Imu. So while Luffy pummels him with Dawn Gatling, he holds a Ragnir up high as he smacks Imu with a Niflheim attack, completely freezing Imu and Gunko in a massive ice block, while Luffy runs out of his gear 5 minutes. Loki says that he has no idea what Imu is, hinting that he wasn't actually aware of the devil who rules the world. Then he says something really interesting, that using his final attack right now was a much quicker way to end things because he was big for way too long, which makes me wonder if using the full-on Nidhogg transformation is draining on Loki just like Gear 5 is for Luffy. He was just smart enough to deactivate before the side effects appeared. As Gunko and Imu are defeated, so too are the other nightmare beasts threatening Elbaf's villages, while Nami and Zeus's reign is stopping the fires. The villagers are also contending with the fact of Loki not killing Herald, but they still don't forgive him for causing such a mess with his recklessness. The giants at West Village have also all been turned back to whites, except 2. Zoro gets ready to kill them, but Chopper shows up out of nowhere to tap them back to normal. This shocks everyone, as how the hell can Chopper undo their demonification? Yeah. Zoro, the man with a plan, concludes that it's because he is an amazing doctor. Of course it's because he's an amazing doctor. There's nothing else. No god fruit, none of that, guys, come on. Back in the outskirts of West Village though, Saint Jeff is back to life. Yup, this whole time, bro was probably hiding next to a place in Egypt or something like that. On a serious note, this regeneration is quite different from the usual we have seen. As for Saint Jeffrey Summers, his face, which was chopped in half, comes back together with a mechanical heart in the middle, which makes me wonder if the rest of the Holy Knight's hearts are also mechanical. But with how cruel Oda has made Summers, specifically with his actions being insanely heartless even by celestial standards, it's possible that he alone has this mechanical heart, and to defeat Summers you just have to crush it. Imu's power can regenerate your body, but if there is no heart, you are forever in torment, left in limbo, as you might be healed but can't do anything since there is no blood flow, which would be a great matchup for Sanji once again, who didn't want to use Germa's OP powers as he was afraid of turning into a being like Saint Jeff. Or this heart could just be a side effect of the Covenant mark. The real heart is hidden in the abyss, and that's how they keep regenerating. It's like the core of the body. Luffy, on the other hand, is completely out of commission as he begs Loki for some food, but instantly gets rejected. So instead he asks Ragnar, who just squeaks like, the fuck is Ragnar gonna do? How is he gonna bring you food, bro? How is Loki gonna bring you food? He was trapped in the underworld for all that time. Gear 5 minutes ass, bro. Yo, I might have figured out how Luffy can extend Gear 5's time limit. He just needs to drink some gamer subs by using code ABD for 10% off. At the same time, right behind them, Imu inside the frozen ice block vanishes into thin air as we cut back to the Holy Land. In the flower room, the real Imu calls up the Gorosei and informs them that Imu is leaving the Holy Land for a short while, which could only mean that Imu-sama himself, the final villain of One Piece, is about to make his entrance on Elbaf. Even during God Valley, just his shadow self was enough to deal with everyone. Yet now, after confirming Nika and Nidhogg's presence, Imu himself has to fight against them. These guys are completely cooked when Imu shows up, by the way, because did you guys see how Loki was huffing after the battle and Luffy can only use Gear 5 minutes for a small amount of time before he runs out of gas? With Imu appearing, it's also possible for the Gods Knights already on the island to get a big power boost by them being in close proximity to Imu. Another battle with Loki might actually turn Elbaf into a rubble at this rate, with Oda having not even revealed Imu's final form or just his normal form. There is no way the Straw Hats are beating him here. The rules of Shonen do not allow for this defeat to happen, as realistically we saw what kind of hockey you need to cause harm against Imu and his goons who have the deepest of the marks. In Egghead, Luffy and the gang only got away intact because of Joy Boy's 800-year-old musty-ass hockey knot. Our guys just do not have the information or strength required to deal with such a threat, so the only logical answer is, of course, for the crew to run away to the moon.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Hey, listen, I am cooking, okay? I have been saying this since Egghead 2 years ago, and it might actually be real now. But like, there's evidence for this shit now, okay?
Whatever helps you sleep at night, Slick.
I imagine that the Straw Hats will suffer a massive loss here, with Elbaf being destroyed or getting to a point where there is nothing to do except escape. They might assume that Imu's target is Luffy and Loki. Frankie will use his new Super Cola for a coup de burst, which will be powerful enough to fling them into outer space or the moon. But even before Imu shows up, the crew will likely make their way into the heaven realm of Elbaf. Why? Well, because when Robin and Saul go to check inside the owl library, they see fire damage, but the shelves are completely empty. All the books have vanished, including Biblo the owl, which makes Robin think that maybe the owl might have moved the books. In Norse mythology, at the top of the world tree is the world eagle, so the bird which guards the knowledge of Elbaf might have fled to the top of the tree to protect the books. Even during the flashbacks of Elbaf, we learned nothing about the heaven realm of the island, but we might have already learned of what's on top of the Atom Tree all the way back in Skypiea. Ganfall told the Straw Hats that there was another way for Blue Sea people to make it to the Sky Islands through the summit of High West, which is considered much safer than the Knockup Street. This summit might be through the top of the Atom Tree. The formation of Sky Islands relies upon the presence of an element called pyroblowin. This element is ejected into the atmosphere through specific volcanic activity which alters the density of water vapor to form solid, navigable sea clouds and island clouds. Because pyroblowin is highly concentrated exclusively within the Grand Line, the summit of High West must logically reside within this specific equatorial band. In fact, in Elbaf's Sun Realm, which sits way above sea level, here not only do normal clouds exist, but also sea and island clouds exist. This is likely due to the island having a high concentration of pyroblowin. Perhaps this is the particle which Lilith used to formulate the Super Cola. Sea clouds or island clouds can't exist near sea level. Only Vegapunk solved this by regulating Egghead's climate. And Lilith last chapter mentioned how Elbaf's environment feels similar, and at the top there might be an even bigger concentration, allowing for a pathway to be created to access the Sky Islands. Because Gonfall says that even if you reach West Summit, you would have to traverse a few other Sky Islands to reach Skypiea. If we look at the name of this entrance, it is another hint to Sky Islands being linked to Elbaf, and not to mention the giant Jack Beanstalk. Like, where did that giant plant come from? Maps of the Grand Line place the first half of the route of Paradise in the Eastern Hemisphere and the second half, the New World, in the Western Hemisphere. Skypiea is located above Paradise, therefore an ascent point originating in the New World would accurately be described from Skypiea's perspective as existing in the west. Elbaf is situated deep within the New World or the Western Hemisphere, perfectly satisfying the directional requirement of this entrance. Just like how Enel was able to fly out of Skypiea to the moon, the Straw Hats through Frankie's Cola might be doing the same once they reach the Heaven Realm where Biblo the Owl is protecting the books. Maybe there is even a normal poneglyph at the top which Robin can read, and it might even speak of the moon, of how the people of the moon migrated to the Blue Sea world, and instead of Imu forcing them to escape, the Straw Hats might willingly travel to the moon as it's a chance for an exciting adventure. Did you guys notice buildings outside of the Pangaea Castle? They are all destroyed. Now many people might say that this is the handiwork of my goat, monkey, deadbeat, Dragon, and his revolutionary army, which would well be the case, as Dragon did say he would move once the God's Knights moved. The Holy Land has been placed in a weakened state right now. Maybe the rest of the God's Knights plus Gorosei are all still fighting as Imu leaves for Nika and Nidhogg, as to him they are a bigger threat. But call me biased, but I can't imagine Dragon, who has waited patiently for 38 years, silently building his strength to oppose the government, would attack Marie-Joie without a plan to deal with Imu. Like, if my goat is attacking Marie-Joie, you need Imu defending. In my eyes, the revolutionaries already did their attack, starving the Holy Land and distracting them as they flip nation after nation to join the world revolution. A more likely candidate would be Blackbeard, who showed up to cause a ruckus in the Holy Land, but now has made a deal with the government with Garp as a bargaining chip to turn Hachinose as a official nation of the world government, because that's the whole reason Bro kidnapped Kobe. Blackbeard's end goal might be the domination of the world, but there are still a few steps he might have to do before launching an all-out war. This could be an event reminiscent of rocks causing a havoc 56 years ago to confirm the existence of Imu. We also can't forget that there might be a time dilation happening during Elbaf, so weeks might have already gone by outside. Honestly, if Dragon is attacking Marie-Joie, like, you really think Imu would just leave? Like, come on, man. That's like the biggest, the strongest character in the whole verse coming to fight you. Like, you need to stay there, right, guys? Also, you guys gotta remember, if they actually end up in the moon, or if Dragon shows up, Yusuf has to buy me Chick-fil-A. Thank you for watching the video. There's no break week.